How to Create a Glitch Monologues Season 17 Chapter 1. This is Season 17 of How to Create a Glitch in the Matrix Monologues Episode 1. In this episode, we will be talking about a completely new topic interrelating our discussions about the multi-layered nature of reality with the consensual reality. In past episodes, we talked about how each conversation between social participants is in fact multi-layered. The non-consensual narratives, which play out in the moment, are nested, so to speak, within the consensual narrative we will remember. Now, in the complete series, we talked about how our impulses are driven by self-hatred and self-love. We also talked in previous episodes how non-consensual narratives are usually either affirming or negating with respect to the narratives uncovered within our shadow selves. Impulses which reject oneself, driven by self-hatred, produce non-consensual narratives which reflect them. Impulses which affirm oneself, driven by self-love, produce non-consensual narratives which reflect them. But there is more to it than that. The non-consensual colors the consensual to the extent our narratives are negating, as opposed to affirming. The narratives or impulses that we negate for ourselves, we negate or reject in others. This rejection manifests through visual, auditory and spatial cues. Let's take an example. Let's say that your friend is speaking with a woman in the hallway at your university. He is entranced by her, enamored with her, believes she is the most beautiful woman he has ever met. You run into the same woman the same day, and you cannot get past how in your eyes she is repellent. Your perspective and his perspective are colored by the non-consensual narratives that underlie the consensual reality you inhabit. In other words, imagine that when we meet someone in the hall or on the road, or in a cafeteria, or in a store, we are privy to the deepest and darkest secrets. I am not suggesting consciously, of course, but it follows from the God consciousness, all-in-all principle. Nevertheless, imagine in those memories you find experiences that you find abhorrent, impulses that you reject in yourself, that you suppress in your shadow self. When you encounter this young woman, you cannot see past those rejected impulses, and she is repellent to you, not because of anything she has done, but because there is a part of you that you cannot face in yourself. Now your friend on the other hand finds no such limitation. And as a result, he is able to see her radiant beauty for what it really is, because he is filled with acceptance, not rejection, not negation. In effect, your consensual reality ensures that you see what you want to see, and when you are repulsed by your own nature, you will be repulsed by it in others too. Now, in the past I've called this facial emphasis. The idea is that others' facial appearance will literally change, in your reality, to fit the narratives that you generate. It may be possible for two people to have completely different appearances in two parallel realities. The only difference between the two realities are the unconscious feelings we have about ourselves, complete with whether we have rejected or accepted our shadow self. Of course, there is more to it than that as well. Acceptance of ourselves is only part of it. The other part of it is acceptance of our reality. Not in the sense of the consensual reality which dominates our daily lives, but in the larger sense, our acceptance of the goodness of existence, the beauty in nature, the beauty in ourselves. Rejecting nature is akin to rejecting ourselves. Rejecting ourselves is akin to rejecting nature. And in the encounters that follow, our hatred of this reality will play out as a rejection of the other, through the non-consensual narratives that engage us and them in the moment. Thus, although our consensual reality dominates our perceptions, at the edges of them, the non-consensual plays a role. In the subjective, the impressions that we have, the feelings they generate, there is more of our shadow self than we would care to admit. And in the welcoming of those impulses into the light, will there be a rectification of our perceptions too? The end result of this line of thinking is this. If you find your reality repugnant, if you find yourself undesirable, if you reject your own likes and dislikes, if you negate your feelings, it will shape your perceptions and trap you in an endless cycle of affirming narratives from others. That's the end of the podcast for today. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment and subscribe.